13 teenagers alone in the woods. What could go wrong? His reflection was blurry. He got scared because he thought it was somebody else for a second and punched the out of that window. She enlightens all of us that she forgot to pack underwear for the whole trip. Why am I here? Why am I on this hike? We didn't even get to see the right tower. I start hearing whispers from everybody. Brooke is missing. She's gone. I need you guys to be so for real with me right now. Hi, today I have a little story time for you guys. And by little, I mean absolutely absurd, ridiculous, just completely ludicrous story time for you guys. We're gonna be talking about my after prom experience, okay? Not too long ago, I posted this video where I read some text messages from my old toxic friend group. This story contains the same people. So let's just get right into this, okay? Now, where I'm from, we do this thing called prom camping, which basically just means you go to prom, and then either that night or the next day, you and your date or your friends or whoever you want go camping. Most people rent cabins at public campsites and such, and then we go camping. So that's what my friend group and I did. 13 teenagers alone in the woods. What could go wrong? Now, everybody that was with us, it was me, Liam, Brooke, Austin, Owen, Molly, Noelle, Peter, Oscar, Alyssa, Kyle, and then 2 of Noelle's friends. So 13 in total. Also, just to note, Noelle and Peter were dating, and Molly and Kyle were dating. Why did I hold up 3? This was in 2018. I was a sophomore in high school, but majority of my friends were seniors that year, so I got to go to prom with them. So everybody that was there was a senior, except for me and Liam. We were both sophomores. We went to prom on Friday, and then the next morning, on Saturday, we all met up at a little grocery store just to pick out food and then hit the road. This was like 8 years ago. And I remember most of it, but there's a couple things that are like small that I'm a little fuzzy on. There are just some things that aren't making sense and we'll get into it later. Something happened to my brain. Now, before we got to the campsite itself, we stopped in this cute little town that was on its way and we went to this like gift shop. Before we even made it to the campsite, I spent $70 on this. It's an elephant. He's so cute. $70 worth of cute. I'm not sure, but at the time I thought so. And I'd already bought my food for the trip and everything. I didn't need to buy anything else, okay? So, what? This is what I look like when I stand to the side. I need to fix my posture bad. He's gonna keep us company. So we get to the campsite. I believe we took 3 cars. We could not find the cabins. We could not find them for like a half hour, if I recall correctly. We were just driving in circles. The path that we had to drive down to get to our cabins was kind of hard to see, but we found it. We did eventually find it. We made it there. We had 2 cabins. Here's a little diagram. I am not an artist, okay? But this is basically just like a really crummy aerial view of what the campsite looked like. Okay, we had the path to drive down, and then we had the 2 cabins, all right? And then we had a little spot for a campfire. The people that stayed in the other cabin were Liam, Alyssa, and Oscar. Now, from what I recall, Liam and Alyssa went into the cabin before anybody else did, and they noticed that there was a hole in the wall leading directly to the outside, next to where one of the beds was. And so naturally, they ran and took the other bed so that Oscar would have to sleep on the bed next to the hole in the wall. So there's that. I believe Peter and Noelle slept in Peter's truck. And Noelle's 2 other friends, they slept in their car. They came later. They just like met us there. And then there was my cabin. We somehow had 4 beds. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe we took one from the other cabin. Well, Brooke refused to sleep with all of us. She said, I'm getting my own bed. I don't care about the rest of you. So Brooke got her own bed. And then that left five of us. So we took the other 3 beds and pushed them all together. And, yep, we slept like that for 2 days. Here's the thing. I am 5'2.5", Everybody else was taller than me. So why I ended up in the middle of this makeshift bed, I couldn't tell you. I had to sleep next to Molly and Kyle on one side, and then Austin and Owen on the other. That's how the cabins were set up, all right? And now this is where things just start getting ridiculous, okay? We get settled around the campfire. Brooke and Molly are like, guys, we have a surprise for you. We got little sparklers, all right? You know, like the sticks that, you know, sparkle. They're getting it set up. Maybe they thought a sparkler was something else, or maybe they meant something else and just said sparkler instead. I don't know, but it was not that. It was actually a bottle rocket, and they launched it at the public campsite. You can't do that. It made that really loud whistling sound and flew up into the sky and then went We all went dead silent. Nobody said a word for like 2 minutes because we knew that if we got caught, we were gonna get kicked out. It was an accident. That happened. We probably talked for a little bit longer, and then we all split off to wherever we were sleeping that night. We're back in my cabin now, okay? Cabin 2. We're all like laying there like, oh, like let's keep talking some more. Austin decided to tell us the story of the rake. Okay, he tells it. Haha. Oh my gosh, scary, whatever. He and Owen then go outside to brush their teeth with bottles of water. And it is now Brooke asleep over there. And then me, and then Molly, and then Kyle laying in the beds, okay? You have not third wheeled to the extent that I have, okay? They're out there brushing their teeth, and then Austin, I guess, was like, oh my gosh, let me play a prank on my friends. Haha. He decided he was just gonna like scratch against like the side of our cabin and like knock on it or whatever to, I don't know, be like the rake or something. We heard the scratching and we were immediately like, okay, well, it's one of them. Like, that's silly. Well, here's the thing. Austin normally wore glasses, but because he just went outside to brush his teeth really quick, he did not bring them with him. As he was scraping along the side of our cabin, he walked in front of one of the windows and met his own reflection, and because he wasn't wearing his glasses, his reflection was blurry. He got scared because he thought it was somebody else for a second and punched the out of that window. It did not break, thankfully, but it was so loud. It was so loud. They came back in. We all go to bed. Sort of. It's not enough that all this buffoonery is taking place during the day. Stuff's gotta happen at night too. Brooke, Owen, and Austin are all asleep, okay? I wake up. Okay, I don't sleep through nights anymore. I'm awake every like 2-3 hours, which has apparently been going on for a long time. At some point in the night, I just wake up. Nothing particularly woke me up, but I wake up and Molly is sitting there. She's sitting up in bed. She's sitting up and she like taps Kyle and she's like, babe, do you know where my pillow went? She taps Kyle. She's like, babe, do you know where my pillow went? He's like just woken up because she woke him up and he's like, no, like, I don't know. He falls back asleep. She continues sitting there and I'm awake because I'm like, what is going on? How do you lose your pillow in this bed? Like, we haven't moved. So I'm invested. I'm awake, but I'm not letting her know that I'm awake, okay? I sit there and sit there and sit there. And about, I'm guessing 20 minutes goes by. And then I hear snoring. Molly fell asleep sitting up in bed. I don't even, listen, this isn't a Molly story time, but this was not the last time I've witnessed this woman do that. But it was the first time. She fell asleep sitting up, and I had to keep myself from laughing because I didn't want to wake everybody else up, and I was like, she just fell asleep sitting up. And then after a little bit longer, I hear like she just came back to life or something, and she was like, where's my pillow? Like, she just remembered where she left off. Next morning comes, turns out, in the middle of the night, I actually took her pillow. I didn't do it consciously, but I did in fact take it because we woke up the next day and it was like under mine somehow. But she started the night out with it. So, my bad. Sorry. We're gonna move on to day 2 now. This is where things really just get so ludicrous. And I'm not kidding. I have no idea what we did in the morning. Absolutely no idea. here's the thing. There are a few small details about this day that are really, really confusing me beyond belief. At some point, this small group of us drove to somewhere to do something, and we ended up at a creek. We were like, let's go. Let's go walk in the creek. Hello, we're camping. So we do that. It is important to note we were not planning on going to a creek to swim and whatever ahead of time. Like, this was spur of the moment, okay? We're walking in the creek, okay? I don't have a lot of pictures from this trip because we were enjoying nature, but here's this one of me. I was like, oh, let me do that thing where you like flip your hair back and the water does the spiral thing. So that's what I was trying to do. I almost broke my leg right after this picture because when I landed back in the water, because I like jumped. When I landed back down in the water, one of my feet slipped on something, a rock, what have you, I don't know. It slipped on something and I leaned forward, but there was a rock in the water and one of my shins started bending like that, but my foot got stuck under a different rock. So, if I hadn't caught myself, we would have been having this would have been a different story. We did that. We walked down the creek a bit and we're walking back. Now, like I said, we hadn't planned on going in a creek. So Alyssa did not have very good footwear on for this. We're walking back to the car after we're done swimming and what have you. And Alyssa is losing her mind. She's had it, okay? Alyssa was very, like, reserved. Like, she didn't yell a lot. Like, she was just there for vibes, okay? She was yelling. She just, like, kept yelling because when you're walking through water, flip-flops are not the best option. They're, like, getting stuck on everything. And at one point, she took one of them off and chucked it down the creek and just yelled. I was crying laughing because she was so funny. And then after she threw her flip-flop, a bug flew in her eye. She was like, a bug just flew in my eye! Like, I'm not doing it justice. It was a lot funnier when she did it. She was losing her mind. But it's okay. We got our flip-flop back. We made it back to the car. Here's the thing. Oh, we get back to the car, and a realization washes over Molly. She enlightens all of us that she forgot to pack underwear for the whole trip. For the 3 days we were there, she forgot to pack underwear. And we were just in the creek. So this one pair that she had, done. They're toast. We're done. It's, you know. So our great solution was to then go to the general store and ask if they had underwear. I have a video of her asking the poor cashier there if they sold underwear. I can't show it to you because, I mean, it's just a video of her and this random person, and I can't put that in here, but she basically just said something along the lines of, like, here's the thing, I was walking in the creek, and I realized that, I didn't pack any underwear, so I was wondering if you had any here. Just the cadence that she was talking in was so ridiculous, but, the lady was like, no, I don't think we have them. They did have bathing suit bottoms, and she was offered those to purchase them. She's like, no, I don't think that's gonna work. Like, it's fine. We left. We go back to the campsite, okay? We tell everybody that Molly forgot to pack underwear because why wouldn't we tell everybody that? I hate to say it, but that's really funny. Noelle, who was known to not really be the biggest fan of Molly, was like, why would you go ask the general store if they had them? Why didn't you just ask me? That was nice of Noelle, okay? She let Molly borrow underwear for the rest of the trip. So that's cool. Just ridiculous. So that all happens. I go back into my cabin to get changed after the creek because I also went swimming. While I was getting changed, though, Owen and Liam got into a little spat by the campfire. I obviously was not there for it, so I don't know the exact details. I don't remember them, but they got into a fight. This is where I start getting confused about this story. At some point, I distinctly remember me, Molly, Austin, and Owen agreeing that if everybody else wanted to go hiking, the four of us would opt to stay back at the cabins, and then we would go get ice cream at the general store together. And I remember that because everybody did decide to go hiking again. I thought we had a plan. Okay, I wanted ice cream. The second that hiking was offered, Owen and Austin were like, yeah, let's go. I was pissed. I was fuming. And it's like, it's not, something like that would not get on my nerves now, but I was really dramatic. When I say that this was a toxic group, I'm not saying it was everybody but me. No, I had my fair share. I was pissed. I told Noelle that I kind of wanted to stay back because I wasn't feeling super great. I just wanted to get ice cream, but I just said I wasn't feeling super great. And she was like, why would you go camping if you're not going to go hiking? We already went hiking once. I didn't bring it up because nothing really eventful happened. We just walked around quietly, which was nice, but I've already been hiking once and I just got back from the creek. Where were you? She was not there, but whatever. I got pissed and then pouty. And I was like, fine, like I'll go. I didn't say that to her, but that's what I was thinking, like fine. From what I remember, Molly and Kyle did not come with us. I believe they stayed back, which is why this is really confusing me, but we'll get to that in a second. So, you know, we all start grouping together to go on this hike. We're gonna go see this cool tower. That's the whole point of this hike, was to go see a tower, okay? Most of the people went in one car, and then me, Owen, and Austin drove in Peter's truck. We get in Peter's truck, and I'm pretty sure Pretty Boy Swag was playing. So I think about this event every time I hear that song. Peter starts his truck and immediately backs it into a tree. Austin and I were in the back of the truck, but thankfully, trucks have a bed. So we didn't get backed into the tree. Peter immediately was like, don't tell Noelle. He didn't mess up his truck that bad, but it put like a little dent in it, I think, or something. But anyways, we go on this hike. I am mad the whole time, just not talking. Like, I just shouldn't have gone because I don't think I did kill the vibe because we were all walking at different speeds. Oh my God, I just remembered something. Did we go hiking 3 times? Wait a minute. Wait! All right. Stay with me here. I think we went hiking 3 times. Look how red my face is. Okay, I'm sorry to do this to you. Do you remember I said I don't remember what we did at the beginning of the second day? I think the second day when we woke up, we did go hiking. We went hiking somewhere, and I think we all rode in Peter's truck. All of us, okay? That is important. This is important. I think we all rode in Peter's truck because I just remembered a bunch of people were climbing like up and down rocks and stuff, and I completely forgot. Austin hurt himself. Not like crazy bad, but he like kind of like cut up his knee, okay? Which was like a whole thing. And yes! Okay, I think this is making more sense now. This was the one detail I needed. Oh my God, I'm big braining now. I think people were helping carry him back down. We were like, okay, like this hike's over. Like, let's go back to Peter's truck. Brooke kind of just took off. She was done. Like, she had it for some reason. She just like went off in front of everybody, like ahead of everyone, and took off for the truck. Austin was fine, by the way. He ended up being fine. All this to bring up the fact that when we got back to Peter's truck, there was some drama. Peter was driving. I'm assuming Noelle was in the front passenger seat because they were dating. And then in the back, it was me on the left, and then Alyssa in the middle, and then Brooke was on the right, okay? And then everybody else was in the bed of Peter's truck. Brooke had her window down and overheard a conversation going on in the bed of the truck that consisted of something along the lines of, I believe Molly and Austin saying, why does Brooke always have to be such a bitch? And then Owen replying, I don't think she means to be, I think she's just like that. And I might be paraphrasing because I did not have my window down. I did not hear it. But Brooke definitely heard it, okay? She was very quiet the rest of the day. Then everything happened with the creek and Molly forgetting her underwear, and then Owen and Liam having a spat at the fire, and then we go hiking again. Now we're caught up. I'm so sorry. We're on our second hike of the day to go see this tower, all right? Molly and Kyle are not with us. I am so pissed off this whole hike because I did not want to be there, and Liam was also pissed off because he got into an argument with Owen, so he and I were buddies on that hike. We get to this alleged tower. It was not the right tower. Why am I here? Why am I on this hike? We didn't even get to see the right tower. And it was a long hike. So we go see this stupid not tower, Okay, Peter's trying to climb it. It's covered in rust. I was like, maybe get down. We're gonna need to rush you to the hospital if you get cut. Yeah, whatever. We walk back to the car. We saw like an orange salamander or something. That was cool. And then that was it. We get back in the cars. We go back to the campsite. Now, we all split off for a little bit. You know, a lot of us were getting changed or cleaning up from the hike. It was getting dark out. You know, we needed to eat. Everybody's doing their own little thing, okay? I start hearing whispers from everybody. Brooke is missing. She's gone. I need you guys to be so for real with me right now. Here's the thing. This is not me not caring. But when there is a situation, okay, we need to stay calm, guys. We need to stay calm. Because what is panicking going to do? Nothing. We need to stay calm. And that's what I do. When things go wrong, I stay calm, okay? So I was like, did anybody go check the showers? Maybe she went to take a shower. We just got back from a hike. Owen was like, no, she was so upset all day. She probably wandered off into the forest. And that is not an exaggeration. He said that to me. That is a quote. I just was standing on like the little porch of my cabin watching everybody run laps around our campsite thinking, is anybody going to go check the showers? Nobody would go with me. It was a 10-minute walk in the dark. I'm not going alone because I don't want to get kidnapped. But I was like asking people to go with me. Nobody wanted to go with me. It's like, it's absolutely ridiculous for us not to check the showers right now. She's probably fine and taking a shower. Brooke wandered off into the forest. She's missing. I seriously like can't even believe that this was a conversation. Like, yes, let's worry and look for her. That's one thing. But one of the places that we should have been looking was the showers. Anyways, I would say 10, 15 minutes goes by, whatever. Guess who wanders back from the showers? Brooke! She was fine. And she actually told Kyle that she had gone to take a shower. I guess Kyle was the only person in our cabin, and she was like, hey, like, just letting you know if anybody asks, I'm going to take a shower. And then Kyle said, okay. And then she left, and then he fell asleep. So that's the Brooke went missing saga of prom camping. We retired to our cabins and cars to sleep. Now, Brooke did not tell anybody at the time that she overheard people talking not so greatly about her. And she pretty much just told us she didn't want to sleep in the cabin that night. She was going to sleep in her car. I felt really bad that she was upset about something because she didn't tell us what it was. But guess who got the single bed that night? Me! I didn't have to sleep on that stupid makeshift bed, whatever, with everybody else. I got to take Brooke's bed that night. So yeah, Brooke slept in her car. And then day 3, all right? Some of the people left the campsite early because the third day was actually a Monday. Most people would keep camping on that day because it's senior skip day, but there was one teacher in particular at our school that would give you like 100, I think, for the day or like whatever, I don't know, something. I never had him, but he would give you credit just for showing up on senior skip day. So a few of the people at our campsite that had him that day left super early in the morning just so they could go to that class and then get their credit, and then like they met up with us later, but we'll get to that. So the few of us that were left packed up all our stuff. We made pancakes. Okay, it was an exhausting weekend. Here's the thing. I laugh about this now, and I love telling these stories to anybody and everybody that will listen. But at the time, it was not fun. It was exhausting. Like, the hiking was fun and whatever, but it was too much drama. And a lot of us had really had it by the end of this few days. We were like sick of each other, you'd think. So we get all our stuff together. It's time to go. The rest of us leave the campsite. And then we all met up for lunch when we got back home. I don't know what happened to us being sick of each other. Everybody was fighting, it seemed. So I don't know why we met up for lunch, but we did. We met up for lunch, and then I think it is entirely possible that we went to a trampoline park later that day, but if we didn't go to a trampoline park, we went to a different restaurant that was nearby it, I remember, because I have videos from the other restaurant. Can't remember if we did this trampoline park thing or not. But after we had dinner and whatever, then a bunch of us went to the drive-in together. I thought we were sick of each other. I don't know. And that, ladies and gentlemen and everybody in between, was prom camping. You know, people always say stuff like, oh my god, like, I could turn my life with my friends into, like, a movie and blah, blah, blah. And I wouldn't say my life, but I could certainly do that with this. And I wouldn't even have to change that much. It could just be, like, a nonsensical, like, absurdist comedy. Anyways, we need to find a name for this one, too. I never named him. I don't know, though. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my absolutely ridiculous story. If you enjoyed this video, I upload new videos every single Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you feel like it, maybe like, comment, share, subscribe. I always appreciate it. If you want to see any of the other places I exist, my Instagram and TikTok are both linked down below. I'm very active on both of those. Have a good rest of your day, night, week, month, year, life, all of it. Bye!